Hey, what's going on? It's Joey Myers from the Hitting Performance Lab, and in this video we're going to talk about the float versus the no float. This has a lot to do with timing, and this is something that probably after the 3 steps to a consistent stance that we start to go over with the hitter, because it is important. And most of the time when we vary back and forth and then the player and I review after the, say, 5 swing round, which we'll talk about the mechanics of that later here in this video. But when we talk about which one they felt more confident, they felt much more control over their swing, and most of the time, or all the time, they say that when they float, they feel much better before they shift their weight forward to fall forward. So the basic premise of a float is to shift the weight back towards the back leg, and it's okay if this knee comes over the toe. A lot of hitting instructors out there say, no, we got to keep the knee inside the toe, but we have to be able to shift our weight back and create this timing mechanism. We can't just fall forward, and that's what happens when we push the knee inside the foot, is the body wants to just fall forward. So depending on the hitter, but we're going to see the float in a different way. We're going to see with a high leg kick like a Jose Batista, medium leg kick, or like a Mike Trout, or a slide step like Robinson Cano. The float is going to start at a different time, which means picking the front foot up. That's when I say the swing starts. So we're going to see that float happen at a different time. But what we want to do is we want to make sure we're seeing a slight pause with the hitter. Again, with a high leg kick, you're going to see more of a definitive pause. With more of a slide step, you're going to see more of a slight pause, which just means, as you can see here, this is the swing with the float, and then you're going to see the fall forward. You're going to see that knee will eventually get itself inside the back foot to get the hitter to fall forward. Now, how we work this, I use variance with all my hitters. So this is swing 1, 3, and 5. So the odd swings, we do a float. And then the even swings, we do a no float, which you're going to see here. This is going to be swing number 2, or the even swings. So we're doing it wrong on 2 and 4, and I'll explain why after you kind of see what this is. So you can see that I'm kind of keeping my knee a little bit more on the inside of the toe, and I'm just going to kind of fall forward. Well, it's really hard when it comes to timing, when we're hitting an unknown moving pitch, to be able to hit this way and be right on the ball. Even if we're doing everything right on pitch plane and stuff like that, there has to be some kind of a slight pause or shifting of the weight back before we go forward. Again, it's all about timing, but we want to make sure that we're doing it right and wrong. We want the hitter to have this sense of right mechanics, wrong mechanics, so that when they do it wrong, that they understand that they did it wrong, instead of it just being doing it wrong being a foreign feeling for them and them not knowing what they did or didn't do. So I sandwich the bad, less bad, so 2, 2 and 4, just 2 in a 5 swing round, versus 1, 3, and 5 are the good, where we want them to get. Now this is just one example of a variable. You'll see the other ones in the next videos, but you only work on one variable at a time. And then once they get this float, then they're actually just going to float on every swing, and it becomes what I call a constant. So we should see them float on every swing when you introduce a new variable. So in this video, we talked about the float versus the no float.